The golden age of Hollywood was filled with glitz, glamour, and stars who seemed untouchable. They had fame, wealth, and legacies that captured the hearts of millions. But behind the bright lights and red carpets, many of these icons carried heavy personal burdens. Burdens that eventually left them bankrupt, forgotten, or tragically alone. In this video, we'll uncover the heartbreaking stories of Golden Age actors and singers who, despite their immense talent, died in poverty. Their stories remind us that success can be fleeting and that the price of fame can be devastatingly high. Judy Garland, beloved for her role as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Over her dazzling career, she earned what would be equivalent to tens of millions today. Yet when she passed away on June 22, 1969, she was just 47 years old and nearly broke. Her estate, valued at only $40,000. Her debts? A staggering $4 million, including unpaid taxes to the IRS. Her downfall wasn't due to lack of talent. It was addiction, financial mismanagement, and betrayal. Her third husband, Sid Luft, squandered much of her fortune on failed business ventures. Meanwhile, Garland's dependency on prescription drugs and alcohol only added to mounting medical costs. In her final years, Judy was performing in small nightclubs for modest fees, sometimes fleeing hotels because she couldn't pay her bills. The world remembers her as a legend, but her last days were filled with struggle, not glamour. Known as the dashing swashbuckler in Captain Blood and the Adventures of Robin Hood, Errol Flynn was once Hollywood's golden boy. His charisma on screen was matched by a lavish off-screen lifestyle, but by the time of his death in 1959, at only 50 years old, his estate was worth a mere $10,000. Extravagant spending on yachts, mansions, and endless parties drained his fortune. Costly divorces and legal battles, including a sensational 1943 trial for statutory rape, where he was acquitted, left him with towering expenses. Flynn battled alcoholism and declining health, forced to act in low-budget films just to survive. The swashbuckler who once lived like a king died broke and broken. Barbara Payton was one of Hollywood's brightest rising starlets in the early 1950s. Beautiful, talented, and captivating on screen, her future seemed destined for greatness. But behind the glamorous photo shoots, her life spiraled into chaos. Scandals, toxic relationships, and substance abuse destroyed her reputation. Arrests for public drunkenness and writing bad checks were frequent. By her late 30s, Barbara was no longer the darling of Hollywood. She was walking the streets of Los Angeles as a prostitute, desperately trying to survive. Years of alcoholism ravaged her body. On May 8, 1967, at just 39 years old, Barbara Payton died at her parents' modest home. With no money for a proper burial, she was quietly cremated. Her once promising star had burned out far too soon. Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle was one of the highest-paid actors of the silent film era, earning over $1 million a year in the 1920s, a fortune at the time. But in 1921, his career was destroyed by scandal. Accused of rape and manslaughter of actress Virginia Rappe, Arbuckle faced 3 trials. Though ultimately acquitted, Hollywood never forgave him. His films were banned, his reputation shattered, and his finances drained. He spent $700,000 in legal fees and struggled to find work, forced to direct films under a pseudonym. When he died of a heart attack in 1933, Arbuckle was just 46 years old. Once one of Hollywood's wealthiest stars, he left behind little more than debt. Dorothy Dandridge made history as the first African-American woman nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress in Carmen Jones. Her voice, her talent, and her beauty broke barriers in a segregated Hollywood. But despite her groundbreaking success, Dorothy was denied the opportunities she deserved. Racism limited her roles. Financial mismanagement left her bankrupt, drowning in IRS debts of $150,000. Failed marriages and poor investments drained her emotionally and financially. On September 8, 1965, she was found dead in her small West Hollywood apartment at just 42 years old. In her bank account, only 24 cents. Her tragic end was a heartbreaking reminder of the immense struggles faced by Black performers in Hollywood's golden age. Marie Prevost was a star of the silent era, captivating audiences in the 1920s. But when sound films arrived, her career crumbled. Her voice didn't translate well to the new medium, and the offers stopped coming. Depressed and forgotten, she turned to alcohol. By 1937, she was living in a rundown Los Angeles apartment, malnourished and destitute. At just 38 years old, she died alone with only $300 to her name. A tragic fall from grace for a woman who once embodied Hollywood glamour. Sammy Davis Jr., the multi-talented singer, dancer, and actor, was one of the most beloved entertainers of his generation. But even legends aren't immune to financial disaster. By the time of his death in 1990, Davis owed the IRS over $7 million in back taxes. Despite selling assets, his estate was still $5.2 million in debt. His lavish spending, gambling, and years of tax penalties left him financially ruined. Even while battling throat cancer, Davis performed tirelessly, trying to repay his debts. He died still owing millions. Veronica Lake, with her iconic peekaboo hairstyle, was one of Hollywood's most recognizable stars of the 1940s. But alcoholism, failed marriages, and mental health struggles derailed her career. By the 1960s, she was working as a waitress in a New York hotel just to survive. When she passed away in 1973 at 50 years old, she had little more than a small bank account and a few personal belongings. Forever remembered as Count Dracula, Bela Lugosi was typecast into horror roles. Despite his fame, he struggled to find steady work. Addiction to morphine and methadone worsened his financial woes. By 1955, he declared bankruptcy. When he died in 1956, he left behind less than $2,000. Ironically, his funeral was paid for by another star, Frank Sinatra. Not all of Hollywood's tragedies made headlines, but many other beloved stars also faced heartbreaking declines. Buster Keaton, brilliant silent comedian, drained by studio control and divorce, lived humbly until his death. Mabel Normand, silent film pioneer, her career ruined by scandal and illness, died young and nearly broke. Bud Abbott, half of the legendary Abbott and Costello duo, ruined by IRS battles, died penniless. John Garfield, blacklisted during the Red Scare, his career destroyed, died at just 39. Terry Thomas, the English comic actor, spent nearly all his fortune battling Parkinson's disease. Each story a reminder that fame offers no protection against hardship. The golden age of Hollywood gave us unforgettable films, performances, and stars whose legacies endure to this day. Yet behind the silver screen, many of these icons lived lives of heartbreak, financial ruin, and personal tragedy. Their stories remind us that fame and fortune can vanish in an instant, and that even the brightest stars can be consumed by shadows. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories from Hollywood's past.